original.
Hello, I am Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And I'm producer Maria.
And welcome to our Web Crawlers mini episodes. We are popping them out Monday through Friday. Just trying to make your life just fun and easy and pleasurable and full of spooky mystery and excitement. Today, we have an episode. We mentioned this a few weeks ago, kind of like in passing, and then we decided to do a mini episode on it. The dating game killer.
Yes.
And there's also apparently, this also has its own podcast apparently, but if you just want like a quick refresher.
Yeah, if you don't have time for, 10 episodes.
Yeah, then just listen to this one mini episode, and that's all you need.
That's all you need.
All you need. Melissa, tell me what's up with this dating game, fuckface.
Okay, so in 1978, this guy named Rodney Alcala appeared on the matchmaking TV show, The Dating Game. He was charming and good-looking, but little did the female contestant or anyone know that he was one of America's most dangerous serial killers at the time.
That's so crazy.
He was secretly kidnapping, raping, and murdering women and children.
Oh my God.
And when the show was filmed, he was at the peak of his killing spree.
Jesus Christ.
There's footage online of this episode. So his criminal history started in 1968. This 8-year-old girl, Tally Shapiro, was walking to school in Los Angeles, and Rodney pulled over his car to ask if she needed a ride. And she says, "No, I don't take rides from strangers." But Rodney said, "It's okay, I'm not a stranger. I know your parents." And so then, she got into the car and they drove off. But luckily, someone saw this was happening, and they followed Rodney to his apartment in Hollywood, and he called the police. And an officer arrived. He knocked on the door, and Rodney answered it. And the officer asks if he can come in to talk to Rodney because he saw, someone said they saw a kid getting in his car. And Rodney says, "Okay, but can I have a few seconds? I need to put on some clothes." He says, I just got out of the shower. And the officer agrees and is like, "Okay, sure, I'll give you 10 seconds. But then the officer gets a bad feeling.
Yeah, duh.
And he kicks in the door. And he finds Tally on the floor covered in blood, raped
Jesus.
and beaten. And she's still alive. But Rodney's nowhere to be found. He escaped through the back door. And so his apartment was full of all this professional camera equipment and tons of photos of young girls.
Oh, God.
And they can't find any paperwork or driver's license anywhere, but they eventually find his college ID. And they see that he's 25 and he's an undergrad at UCLA studying theater. So a year goes by, they don't know where this guy is. And in 1969, he made the FBI's most wanted list. And then 2 more years pass before anything is heard of him. And in 1971, the LAPD get a phone call from police in New Hampshire. They say they have this guy in custody because 2 girls saw the FBI flyer and went to the police because they knew him. He had been their counselor at summer camp.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he was living in New York and attending NYU Film School. He was going by the name John Berger. And a little fun fact, he studied under Roman Polanski.
Oh my God, that's probably one of the lessons Roman Polanski gave. The New Hampshire police sent him back to California to face charges for what he did to Tally. But Tally and her family moved to Mexico, and they did not want to come back to face him.
What?
So she wasn't going to testify.
Yeah, they didn't want to come back. They're like, we don't want to come back to look at this guy.
I mean, I get it. Instead, they charged Rodney with child molestation. He served just under 3 years in prison. Jesus Christ, that's all it is.
I know.
When he got out, he immediately picked up another young girl and took her to the beach to smoke weed. But before he was able to do anything terrible to her, the police showed up and arrested him. Yeah, that's gotta violate his parole.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He violated his parole and he went back to jail for 3 more years. He was released in 1977 and he got a job at the LA Times as a typesetter. What the fuck? Guys, men can do it all.
It's crazy.
In 1979, 21-year-old Jill Parento found dead in her Burbank apartment, raped. evidence is too weak to build a case against Rodney.
So they couldn't charge him because they're like, we think it's this guy Rodney, but there's no evidence.
And this is probably before they had really good DNA analysis and stuff.
Yep.
In December 1979, Huntington Beach, 12-year-old Robin Samso was playing on a beach with a friend when a man asked to take their picture. A neighbor intervened. The girls went their separate ways for the day, but Samso never made it to her next destination. Her remains were found a few weeks later. When a police sketch of the suspect was released, Alcala's parole officer alerted police to their similarities. Alcala was living with his mother at the time, a close distance from where Samso's remains were found. Alcala was arrested on July 24th of 1979 for Samso's murder. While Alcala was in prison, his sister came to visit him. It's weird that he has a sister and is doing all this shit. He told his sister he needed to do something for her. He needed his storage locker cleaned out in Seattle. Woof. Of course, the police overheard this conversation, so they located the storage locker and found thousands of images of young girls and other things that tied him to a lot of missing women. Yeah,
the storage locker was just full of just piles and piles of photographs of women.
Yeah, that's not good.
So then in 1980, he goes on trial and he's sentenced to death for Robin Samso's murder. In 1984, his conviction was overturned when the California Supreme Court ruled that the jury had been improperly notified of his history as a sex offender in the Tally Shapiro case. So then 2 years later, in 1986, he was convicted and sentenced to death again. So he's in prison until 2001. So that's 15 years or whatever he's in prison. And then in 2001, a federal appeals court overturned the conviction for a second time based on evidence that he didn't get to present. So at this point, DNA was being used for everything. So the police went back to examine all of this evidence they had on Rodney, and they were able to link him to 4 more murders in the LA area between 1977 and 1979. So there's another trial in 2010, and it was for all 5 victims. And Rodney chose to defend himself in court.
That's true lunatic behavior.
Yes, because Ted Bundy did that? And even called Robin Samso's mother to the stand to testify. And the craziest thing, he called himself as a witness. And he cross-examined himself while doing different voices.
That's actually so tight. Well, he did go to acting school.
Oh, right.
Is there that anywhere online? Can you watch that?
I didn't find any video of it, but I'm sure it's got to be somewhere on the internet. He also presents a video of himself to the jury. It's of him as a contestant on the dating game. So he appeared as a contestant, and he actually won. Although the woman never went on a date with him because she got a bad feeling.
Good, dude.
She said, she told the Sunday Telegraph in 2012, she said, "I started to feel ill. He was acting really creepy. I turned down his offer. I didn't want to see him again."
Good.
So the reason he showed the video was to point out that he was wearing gold earrings, the same ones that linked him to the murder of Robin Samso, because they found earrings in the storage facility, and he was like, "No, look, I'm wearing these earrings on TV." And the jury was like, it's shitty evidence.
Right? Yeah.
So he's convicted of all 5 murders. During the sentencing part of the trial, he chose to play the Arlo Guthrie song, Alice's Restaurant, which includes the lyrics, "I want to kill. I want to see blood and gore and guts and veins in my teeth. Eat dead, burnt bodies. Kill, kill, kill."
What songs would you guys play during your own trial for manslaughter?
Teenage Wasteland. Dun, dun. No, I'd play NWA's Fuck the Police.
Maria, would you play Kiss by a Rose?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, it's
a big kiss by a rose on.
You know, it's funny. Remember that day you were sending us texts of Craig listening to Peter Frampton?
Yeah.
Well, I got a text from Craig.
No, you did
It
not.
says, since Maria is embarrassing me. It's just Maria singing.
Oh my god, that's so pure.
Because Martin was like, Craig asked for your number. I was like, okay. And he texted me.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
But I felt so good singing it. It's such a nice song. It's such a beautiful song.
You're so into
That is
it.
a really good song. We should do a Patreon episode of us just singing
all the
it.
harmonies.
Love remains.
Yeah.
Maybe you can post that on your Patreon if you want to get more subscribers.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's going to be a hot ticket item.
So after Rodney goes to jail, the police put out 100 photos from Rodney's collection of photos, all of the non-explicit ones, of course, asking the public if they know any of the women. And 9 women came forward who all had terrible stories about Rodney, about saying he molested them and he raped them. And then a few family members of missing women came forward, and they said that they recognized the women as family members. And so he ends up being connected to 3 more murders. And so the NYPD started looking into some cases of missing women and comparing Rodney's DNA, and they discovered he murdered 2 more women in the New York area.
Jesus Christ, Rod.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So then he went back to trial again and was sentenced to death. He's currently on San Quentin's death row. Police and news outlets have published many of the images that were in Alcala's storage unit in the hopes that it will help lead to solving more cold cases. Orange County Deputy District Attorney Matt Murphy said, "We fear he is one of the most prolific serial killers on the West Coast in the 1970s, up there with Ted Bundy. He is a predatory monster, and when you see all these young women in positions of vulnerability with him, it makes you fear what happened to them." And there's a database of photos. But dude, that's crazy. How do you get on the dating game? Do you
Well, he was
apply, or do you
good looking and charming, and you would think that he was just a normal dude.
Jesus Christ.
Rodney Alcala dating game. Let me pull up the video.
Well, let's see. Bachelor number 1 is a successful photographer who got his start when his father found him in the dark room at the age of 13, fully developed. Between takes, he might find him skydiving or motorcycling. Please welcome Rodney Alcala. Rod, welcome. And it's time to meet our young lady for game number 1, and here she is. Here is a young lady with a wealth of experience. She once earned a living massaging feet, but she quit when her boss suggested that she work her way up. Then she taught school in Phoenix, Arizona, and now she's here to educate our 3 bachelors in the art of amour. Welcome, if you will, sensational Cheryl Bradshaw. Hello, Cheryl. Don't sit down yet. Just a minute. Want to make sure everything is straight. You relaxed? You feel okay? All right. You know there are 3 bachelors over there. There'll be 1, 2, and 3. Ask them anything you like to find out more about them, except their name, age, occupation, or income. Okay? And we're going to start by having them say hello to you and see how they sound. Number 1, would you say hello to Cheryl, please?
We're going to have a great time together, Cheryl.
Okay. And here we are.
Yeah.
Bachelor number 1.
Yes.
What's your best time?
The best time is at night, nighttime,
Why do you say that?
because that's the only time there is.
The only time? What's wrong with morning, afternoon?
Well, they're okay, but nighttime's when it really gets good. Then you're really ready.
I'm a drama teacher, and I'm going to audition each of you for my private class. Bachelor number 1. You're a dirty old man. Take it.
Oh, God.
Come on, over here.
Oh, honey, we ought to go out and boogie.
What is happening?
Bachelor number 1. I am serving you for dinner.
Oh,
What are you called? And what do you look like?
I'm called the banana, and I look really good.
And I look really
Can you be a
good.
little more descriptive?
Peel me.
Peel me. Ooh.
I'm going to ask you a question. Will that date be bachelor number 1, bachelor number 2, or bachelor number 3? Who gets the date?
Well, I like
3
the meals,
uggos.
so I'll take 1.
Number 1. Bachelor number 1. All right. Well, there they go.
He's like so happy.
However, you did leave one remaining. And this is your date, and I want to tell you something about him, Cheryl. He's a skydiver, so he's got a lot of nerve. He's into motorcycling. He's also a fine photographer. Say hello to Rodney Alcala. Rodney, come on and say hello. Congratulations, Rod. You did it with a 1 answer.
Ooh.
Well, as far as I can see, Cheryl and Rodney, it looks like the two of you may be involved in some sort of racket. So we're going to have you take to the court. Oh, first, you'll receive tennis lessons from
Tennis
expert Naomi
lessons.
Bishop of the famous Kirkwood Tennis Club. That starts. And you'll soon be acing everyone off the courts. And to make sure you both look as professional as you'll become, complete tennis outfits will be provided by Bill Darling's Tennis Shop. It'll really make you look
Ooh, on Ventura Boulevard.
Then it's off the Magic Mountain, one of America's greatest
Ooh, Magic
amusement
Mountain.
parks, with plenty of excitement to challenge any daring dater, like the Revolution that'll help you turn the town upside down, and of course the world's
It's
greatest
still a
roller
tennis
coaster,
shop.
the
It's
Colossus
but
Magic
now it's called
Mountain,
Tennis
just a half an hour
Ace.
north of Hollywood, California. So
Well, that's creepy as all hell.
That's so
Yeah,
creepy.
that's really fucking weird. They really need to screen these people.
Yeah, back in 1978, there's no internet.
Yeah, no screening. Well, that's pretty crazy. I'm surprised that hasn't happened to me.
Wait, what? A serial killer luring you to his house?
No, just like going on a date with someone who's like turns out to be a murderer or something.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked that hasn't happened with me either, now that I think about it.
If you want to listen to the whole podcast that's about the dating game killer, I think it's on Wondery Network. We're not really in the habit of like promoting other networks, but just like if you're interested, if it piqued your interest,
Sure.
then you can do that. Anyways, if you want to reach us online, Melissa, where can people find us?
You can email us if you've ever dated a murderer or know someone.
Yes.
If you've never
Yes.
dated a serial killer, you can email us at webcrawlerspod@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter and Instagram at webcrawlerspod, and we're on Facebook and Reddit.
Hell yeah, baby. And please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, because we really love it when you do that.
Please do.
Please do. I'm Allie Siegel.
I'm Melissa Stettin.
And I'm producer Maria.
As always.
Cool.
Bye.
Bye.
An Erios original.
Powered by Acast.